Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly incredible story. It's one that perfectly captures the sheer power of community, empathy, and nature. We're going to dive into a fascinating narrative about how an entire forest was saved by a single, seemingly insignificant act of kindness. Let's just jump right in and see how one good deed created a massive ripple effect for a whole community of birds.
So what happens when you help a tired, thirsty cloud? I know, it sounds a bit like a riddle, right? But as we're going to see today, the answer involves a seriously magical chain reaction. It's one of those stories where the impossible suddenly becomes possible, and the whole thing sparks from just one person choosing to step up and help instead of turning away.
Let's set the scene. The rainy season is dangerously close to ending. You've got these huge dark clouds wandering the sky, absolutely desperate to find large water sources so they can finally unleash a heavy downpour. If they don't find water and find it fast, they won't be able to rain, and that means the entire forest below is looking at a devastating drought. Time is completely of the essence here. Now, most of the clouds actually flew way off toward the ocean to gather water, but one lone cloud volunteered to stay behind and search the local, already parched forest. Unfortunately, he completely struck out. The sun goes down, darkness falls, and this totally exhausted, thirsty cloud is forced to just rest on a large tree, dreading the incredibly long journey to the ocean he's going to have to make the next morning. As he put it, "I haven't found a single drop of water all day. I have to rest on this tree tonight." And this brings us to a really beautiful concept, reciprocity. It's all about mutual exchange, a cycle where helping someone results in them helping you back. In our story, this perfectly embodies the idea of bear helping Kirthi Hewa, this incredible concept of birds actively helping and uplifting others around them. We're about to see how a mother bird named Rano, who happens to live in the exact tree where our cloud is resting, kickstarts this whole cycle. Her kids actually think the cloud is some giant white bird at first, but Rano quickly realizes, nope, that's a tired cloud in serious need of some help. The steps that follow are beautifully simple, but man, are they monumental. First, Reno doesn't just ignore the guy, she engages with him and points him toward a river in the western hills that actually still has some water left. Second, the cloud heads over there and drinks his fill. And third, this is the crucial point. Out of pure gratitude, the cloud gives Reno a life-saving warning. He tells her that he and the other clouds are planning this unprecedented, massive downpour to finally cure the drought. He basically says, move your nest to the highest branch immediately or you are going to drown. Section 1. Spreading the warning. So Rano gets this huge tip, but she doesn't just quietly save her own family and call it a day. No, she flies straight to the court of King Parrot and relays the cloud's warning. And the king, completely trusting Rano's wisdom, doesn't hesitate for a second. He sets this rapid chain of command into motion. He dispatches the information bird, who starts frantically flying through the forest, broadcasting this emergency alert to every single resident. Move your nests to the highest trees right now. Thankfully, most of the forest actually listens. The majority of the community acts super wisely and swiftly. They're packing up their eggs, grabbing their kids, and helping each other migrate upward to safety. The system works, right? The warning is heeded, and it looks like disaster is totally averted for the community. Moving into Section 2, the trap of arrogance. We have this stark contrast here. On one side, there's Rano Bird. She's empathetic, proactive, protecting her kids, and securing a high branch. But then, on the other side, we've got Kulu Crow. He lives down in a lower branch and just outright rejects the emergency broadcast. Rano even personally stops by to check on him, and Kulu literally mocks the king's warning. He calls it total nonsense, magic, and superstition. You have to hear this. He says, "I am the oldest crow in this forest. I've seen the biggest rains. I am not leaving my beautiful nest." It's a classic case of hubris. Kalu's over-reliance on his own past experiences completely blinds him to the actual danger right in front of him. He honestly thinks his age makes him invincible. Which brings us to Section 3, the flood arrives. Things go downhill so fast. On day 1, the heavy rain starts. Just as promised, it's a massive downpour. By day 3, the rivers completely overflow, flooding the entire forest floor and completely washing away all those lower nests. And by day 4, the situation turns truly dire. The water level reaches even the absolute highest branches. We're talking going from a heavy rain to a full-on, life-threatening disaster in a flash. By that third day, Kalu's arrogance has literally cost him everything. His beautiful lower nest is totally destroyed by the floodwaters. Soaking wet and freezing cold, he flies up to Rano's high nest, begging for the exact same help he was just mocking. He cries out, "Open the door, Rano! My nest washed away and I will die of the cold. Forgive me!" Now, despite how Kalu acted before, that amazing cycle of bear helping Kurtiha just keeps going. Rano doesn't gloat, she doesn't turn him away. She immediately pulls Kalu right into her nest, gives him shelter, and hands him a dry cloth. Her instinct to help just doesn't waver. It's honestly this profound illustration of true grace, forgiveness, and how communities actually survive together.
Section 4. The ultimate reward.
Okay, so we're on the 4th day now, and the water is rising so high, it's dangerously close to drowning absolutely everyone. Hopelessness is really setting in. The birds survived the initial flood, sure, but now they're completely trapped. They're freezing, they're starving, and they are huddled on literally the absolute highest dry branch left with all their kids. The rain simply refuses to stop, and they are entirely out of options. But then, out of this completely stormy sky, a familiar face shows up. The very first cloud, the exact one Rano helped, descends right down to her. He explains what happened. His ocean-faring friends got so incredibly excited that he actually found water locally that they just dumped their share of the rain alongside his. It was basically this giant accident of enthusiasm. But crucially, he tells them, "Don't worry, I have a solution." He came back specifically to help Rano and her community get out of this mess. And his solution is incredible. To save the starving, freezing birds, the cloud literally uses his own body to create these magical nests. They're made out of the cloud's warm, cotton-like essence, and they actually physically float in the air, keeping all the birds entirely safe way above the rising floodwaters. Even better, he pre-filled them with fresh, sweet fruits so the kids wouldn't starve. And they're magically designed to automatically return to the cloud once the floodwaters finally recede. Talk about the ultimate act of gratitude.
Section 5. The power of mutual help.
When you think about it, this whole thing really comes down to the number one. It took just one single act of pointing a thirsty cloud to a river to create this massive butterfly effect. I mean, think about it. If Rano hadn't helped the cloud, she wouldn't have been warned. If she hadn't warned the king, the forest would have drowned. If she hadn't forgiven that stubborn crow, he would have perished. And if the cloud hadn't returned the favor, they all would have starved anyway. One good deed literally saved an entire forest.
A small act of kindness saved a forest. So, I want to leave you with a question. Whose cloud can you be today? How can you jumpstart this cycle of reciprocity in your own life? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this incredible story inspires you to go out there and help someone today.